centuries, everything in nature ran on this. Fresh air. We suffer fatal withdrawal symptoms within minutes of our supply being cut off. This dependency made air's rival water jealous. It was feeling the heat that turned it into something useful. Steam. Nowhere went steam bunkers quite like America. To understand why, I'm afraid we have to look at a map. At first, settlers had stuck to the edges of America, but Americans back then weren't the humble, unassuming people they still aren't today.
Manifest Destiny is a ideology that was in the 1840s and 50s that America had a God-given right to take over the rest of the continent.
You had to trundle across a perilous landscape in a rickety wagon on the brink of starvation or shitting yourself to death with dysentery, getting bitten by snakes or butchered by Apaches, almost as if God didn't want them to do this after all. Where do the bullets come out? Do they come out of that pipe bit? Can I hold that up and look down the end of it, or will that shoot me in the eye?
It's generally frowned upon.
How come Americans have the right to kill anyone they want with a gun?
Well, they don't. They do have the right to own weapons.
They have the right to bear arms.
Correct.
But bears don't have arms.
They do, actually.
The North asked the South what kind of America it wanted to live in. One where white people leeched off other races while treating them as inferior, or one where they pretended they didn't. How come people say it was the first modern war, when you can see from the photos it was ages ago?
Photographs were part of the conflict and documenting the violence.
It must have been quite exciting going to snappy snaps afterwards and seeing which ones had turned out and which ones hadn't.
That's probably the whole reason behind the war. They just wanted to make cool photos.
At long last, slavery was abolished and replaced with simple racial prejudice. But Abraham Lincoln's story didn't have a happy ending. A terrible fate befell him. He was forced to go to the theatre to watch a play. He was put out of his misery by a...
He was shot by a man named John Wilkes Booth, who was a believer in the Confederacy.
How did being shot in the head affect Lincoln's ability to lead? Another of Edison's incredible inventions was the phonograph. If I speak into this trumpet bit, can I ask the person a question?
No, you can't, because the recording was made over 100 years ago. Phonograph means sound writing. It doesn't mean telephone.
So they can hear us, but they can't reply.
They're probably just muted.
It can't capture something that's been in the past.
It seems quite limited, to be honest. Thanks to Edison's pornograph. How do you play an orchestra? Do you blow into it, or is it one of those ones where you rub a stick on the strings?
The orchestra itself is an entity that is made up of lots of different instruments.
So you couldn't blow a whole orchestra?
You can try, one by one, maybe even do two at a time.
When was the first flight that was long enough to need a toilet? Why don't bicycles have toilets? You know, it would save you having to get off. I might write that down and copyright it. How come we're still not any closer to working out how aeroplanes actually work?
But we are.
I think they run on belief. It's just because we believe planes can fly that they do. The media has to keep up the pretense, or they're just going to start dropping out of the sky. Same with Wi-Fi. There's no way that's real. The need for bigger vessels led to the invention of the Titan 1C, the world's first single-use submarine. For years, man had stared at the ocean, longing to sink like a stone, and the Titan 1C would make that dream come true. How did Marie Curie realise that she'd discovered radioactivity if it's invisible?
Lots of real things are invisible.
It's like chakras and energy fields.
Well, I don't think that they are real. No.
I think they are real.
Well, lots of
my Aunt Carol realigns people's chakras. She charges 80 quid an hour.
Isn't Aunt Carol the one who lives with that cult?
It's not fair, is it, when a male scientist like Bruce Banner gets exposed to gamma radiation, he gets to be like a superhero. Marie Curie just gets killed. You know, is it the fault of the patriarchy? Also, what is a patriarchy? Physicist and professional tongue model Albert Einstein. What makes us as creatures turn on each other like that? Could you keep the answer to one short sentence?
Fear, honour and interest.
Really? Those are the three?
That's it in a nutshell.
Barbarism of World War I inspired a wide range of harrowing war poems and pacifist literature, published decades before the release of unrelated Belgian techno anthem Pump Up the Jam.
God damn it.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping, and the jam is pumping.
Why do people in old films move so fast? Is it because it was their first time on camera, so they were nervous? Could we communicate with the actors in the film and tell them that it's all right, that they can calm down?
Maybe via Edison's pornograph.
An atomic bomb called Little Boy. That bomb had been dropped on my ex-boyfriend Sean's house in West Horton. Everything from the checker bent roundabout on the A58 to the florist next to the Hart Common Golf Club would have been totally destroyed. The initial blast would have vaporised Sean.
The British have got nuclear weapons and have recently indeed decided to increase the number of warheads.
Yep, but they're blanks.
No, these are fully capable missile systems with nuclear warheads. Many other states have them.
Can we talk about something a bit more cheerful?
He doesn't even change his expression once. He just looks.
I love ABBA.
Yeah. What's your favourite ABBA song?
Dancing Queen.